and to be able to come back to Atlanta in my directorial debut, bringing back to Atlanta what I have learned all over the world, in New York, in Los Angeles, and then touring and working with the great people that I've worked with, I'm very full. You know, I never thought when I left home in 1979, you know, you all are so young, you don't even know what Atlanta was in 79. You know, Atlanta's a whole nother city now.
It is. And I'm a native. Exciting. I'm a native, too, so I grew up here. It's my heart. It's my baby. That's why I blog about Atlanta. As soon as I heard the word that you were coming back, not only just coming back to Atlanta, but you're going to be directing and choreographing. Let me give you guys the name of the play, because we had to kind of rush her in, and you're listening to DryerBuzz and Company. This is a segment called The Cut. We're going to get the buzz behind the buzz, and because she is bringing back to Atlanta the 1975, the second run of the 1975 award-winning, unique nominated stage play for colored girls who consider suicide when the rainbow is enough. I can't wait for her to put her spin on this. It's going to take place at the 14th Street Playhouse Friday, August the 22nd. Try to get the tickets for opening night, okay? And definitely we want to extend this run. It's going to go through September the 7th, but if you go out and get everybody, call your friends, tell them book flights to Atlanta, and get here to see this, we can get it extended. Now, tell me how you're going to put your spin on this play.
I was ecstatic to direct the piece. But then I said, well, we don't need a choreographer because, you know, I can handle that part. You know, we don't need all these separate people. And the thing about our culture, as in many African cultures, is that music and dance are intrinsic to who we are. It is a natural way of expression. It is what we do. I feel unnatural when I go to a gathering and there's no music. I'm like, well, what are we supposed to do?
Right, because that's how
sitting around talking and drinking, right? And I have tried in my life to explain to people, well, during high school we went to parties to dance. This is a social, communicative way that we express ourselves. We don't have to go to school to learn this. So what Ntozake Shange has created is a very organic piece to tell the story of 7 black women from America that have different experiences, but that express them through poem, through dance, and through music. That's why she had to come up with her own term for the piece, which is called a choreo poem.
Oh.
And if you can imagine in 75 how revolutionary this was.
Right.
To be on Broadway with these 7 women, they're doing monologues and poems and choreography, but it's not a musical.
Right.
You know, this changed the landscape for us, but we really need to support it because it is one of those gems like raisin in the sun. That's what For Colored Girls is for us. And so the more that we can expose this piece to more people, the better. The younger generation, I know, will get it because now Def Jam poetry has brought to them what was going on in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
Which they don't even understand was happening during the Harlem Renaissance, was happening on the plantations, was happening in Africa. We are basically carrying forth the legacy that our African ancestors have already given us, our rhythm, our communication, our drums, our music. You know, we are still, no matter what has happened, this has still survived in the way we communicate. Oh, I get that. Everything ain't about words. Sometimes it's body language. Sometimes it's music. Sometimes it's yes, I understand you, and you don't have to say anything else. And that's what this piece is about for me. Each woman has a different African-American story. You know, for me, the challenge in directing this, let me just say that if anybody has seen the Vagina Monologues, that's the most current piece that I can compare this piece to. Eve Ensler took interviews from different women and their voices, right? But for Colored Girls, it's written from one woman and from one voice, as opposed to me trying to say this is 7 women telling the same story. I have to find a way to tell these 7 women in different ways. We're not all angry. We don't all hate. Some of us get hurt afterwards and broke down. Some of us rise up again. Some of us tell our story through tears. Some of us tell our story through spit. You know, there are different values and different ways that we express ourselves. It's not all the same story.
Right. Now, you mentioned The Angry Black Woman. And this play coming out in 1975, that would have been unheard of. Yes, she would have been upset. She would have been tired. But when I think about this play debuting and coming out in 1975, the sister then, and now coming out, you know, you're bringing it back in 2008, the sister now, that sister in between, what happened that she became the angry black woman, not to mention the B's and the H's and everything else?
Right.
What happened?
We became our own cliche.
So what do we do?
Are. You know, we are motherhood and sisterhood and all of this, but we are not represented that way. And we can no longer blame white people for everything.
Right. And one of the things that breaks my heart is if you look up black woman online today, African American woman, black woman, sister, the first 4 pages are negative. And my goal is to take those keywords back. If I take 2 and 3 generations to go and see this play, is that going to help us? How is that going to change us and help us to see who we are?
Well, I'm hoping in my interpretation of the piece, because what a director does is take the words and the actors, put their own spin on it, right? My first reaction, which is why this is so ironic that you would say this, is that I can't do a whole piece about angry black women.
Right.
Getting people told. Now, because that's not only is it not true.
Right.
That's such a cover for what's really going on. That is not what's really going on. That is what comes out of pain, out of fear, out of vulnerability. How do I show the pain, the fear, and the vulnerability? You know? And so when actors came in to audition for me, and that was their initial choice, you know, I didn't respond right away. Part of me was like, now, can I change that in them, or is that the only way they can communicate? The actors that I chose for this piece have color. They have humor. They're not afraid to show their vulnerability. We have become a caricature of the black woman. We are not represented, and we don't. And I have to say I'm an actor, too, so I also know what goes on when you go into audition, and they say, well, can you do a head thing on that? Okay? How insulting. You know, as a person, you come in, you make a choice. This is real to me. I know this. Maybe you've been through it. You know, maybe you told somebody the very words that you're asked to say, and they're telling you to put, well, I didn't do a head wag on that. Everybody don't talk like that.
Don't miss a minute of the buzz. Catch the entire podcast at DryerBuzz.com and catch us live each Friday for DryerBuzz and Company. Spread the buzz.
Now that I know, you know, really know what you do and what you're about, we're going to have to do this again.
Definitely.
Too deep. There are too many steps. Not just like phone in and call this interview. So I want to give you that. We can do this 2, 3, 4 times, whatever. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's on a level that people are not used to hearing, with just sound bites and different perspectives. You have your own perspective. You know what you're talking about. I can't even tell you, you know, what I've been through as far as what people tell me and ask me. I'm like, okay, obviously we're back here. You know, we're at 101, you know. I want to tell you we're going to have to do this again.